Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today we are going to start upgrading the upholstery in the Sandhurst. Now, it could be any motorhome at all. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be upgrading these panels. I say upgrading them, we're going to be recovering them. We're going to be making new ones and recovering them in a grey suede, so it takes on a bit of a different look in the van. So we've got a few panels we're going to look at. We're going to look at that one, that one, that one there, that one there, that one there, one there, little tiny one there, and the one below the door. We're Mark and V, and this is our adventures. I think it's going to be quite interesting. What the plan is I've got some 3.5mm ply. I'm going to template all these and recover them using some foam, and I'm not quite sure how we're going to do the pockets yet, but we'll come to that as we go through the video. So stick with us. This could, like I say, this could be done on any motorhome, caravan, car even, I suppose, if you're going to cover panels on a car. So any upholstery panels. So I think this is going to be quite interesting. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the panels. So as you can see, they got these little plastic covers. So we're going to remove them, and there's Phillips screws in behind. And we'll remove the panels and then template them up. So we're going to, I think we'll do that one and that one first, because they're probably going to be the hardest, because we've got to think about their pockets. I say they're going to be the hardest. We've got a pocket there as well. I have an idea, and I'm hoping that idea will work out, but we'll see. Take my Apple tracker out as well. Now, if you don't know about that, I've made a little video on how to make that silent. And if you want to see the video about this, the link will be at the very end, so you can see that as well. That'll show you how to track your van on your Apple device, be it iPad, iPhone, even a MacBook, don't matter. And there you have it, the first one off. But we will template off this, and they can go back. Now, looking at how they've done this, I think we can replicate that as well. So if I bring that up, so you see that pocket, bring it round, you can see how they've stapled it. The top is all stapled as well. And we will probably glue and staple, but I'm going to use ply. That looks like hardboard to me. So we're in here now in the garage, and I'm going to template them off. Now, I don't know how good your cutting skills are. However, straight edges make sense to me to use the straight edges that you got. So there's only one, the straight edge to worry about, and the rest is all curved. Same over here. Yes, it's going to end up with waste, but I'm more worried about the final product and it looking good. So that's what we're going to do. So there we are. That's it's all marked off. Well, I'm just going to mark it off now, but I've clamped them as well, just so they don't move. And while we got it like this, we got hose that we need to line up with, so it makes sense to put the hose in now. So we're going to get a drill bit and just mark the hose off so that we know they're going to be in exactly the right place. Now, thinking about it, I could use a drill bit, or I could just put the original screw back through, can I? So if I was to just put a screw through, that's going to mark the wood below. So I think that's what we'll do. Just in case there's any other marks on the panel. And there we are. That is our first two templates. Once we've cut the rough shape out, and it is pretty much a shape, but you've got to smooth it because it's got to be nice. when you come to the corners, something I was taught at school actually in woodwork, but if you're trying to cut smooth a corner that goes around, so it's going clockwise, we carry on clockwise in the opposite direction as such. So you're doing that, and that gives you, depending on your level of skill obviously, a much nicer corner. So I'm just going to go around the whole board now, smooth it up so it's ready for the next stage. We've got a few more to cut out yet, but I won't bore you with doing them all. We'll come back when I've cut them all out. You've got to sand it down and make it look good as well, haven't you? I know it's going to be covered, but you want it to, your pride and everything like that. So use some sandpaper, or even better still, use some of these foam blocks. They're absolutely brilliant. I'll put a link down below, and we'll put them in our Amazon shop as well, so you can find them if you want to buy some. And we will get a little kickback if you do purchase them, but it won't cost you anything. All right, so don't forget that. It supports the channel. I'll put a little bit. Literally, it just makes everything, that final, you know, product just that little bit nicer. It's not hard to do. Take your time. Make sure your curves are nice and smooth and there's no jagged edges. And remember, that's an aesthetic look because that's on the inside. So if anything's going to look wrong, it's going to be that edge there. So make sure it looks nice and smooth. You'll be surprised how much the foam will cover up the multitude of sin. Like when you're carpeting a van, I don't know if you've ever carpeted a van, but when you carpet a van, sometimes you look at what you're carpeting on. You think, oh, that's going to look terrible. And when you finished it, it looks a lot better. So I'm just going to grab that sandpaper around at the very end. And I would say that is panel 1 done. Well, the first bit of the panel anyway. We've obviously got to cover it and do all the rest yet. But I'm quite happy with that. So like I said, I've shown you all the steps into doing the panels now. I don't really want to bore you doing multiple panels, so we'll leave it at that, and we'll come back at the next stage now when we're ready to put some covering on it. And we're going to go for a velvet cover. It's very nice. I'll let you see it. There's a pile of the original bits, and I'll be keeping all of them. We'll be putting them in plastic and saving them just in case when we sell the van, if anybody wants it. This one, however, I'm going to cover over the material because I think it's probably the best way to go about it, and it'll be easy just to unpick it. It shouldn't need be, but there's all the rest of the pieces. They're all cut, waiting to be just covered and tidied up. I want to show you something in the van now though. So here we are back in the van. You can see all the bits of trim taken out, and I may do these pieces as well. I don't know yet because they're not really noticeable most of the time, but this is what I wanted to show you. This panel here was always a bit loose, and when you come in you can see why. Multiple holes where they've tried to attach it and it's not done well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just flatten that off a little bit and then glue these in place. So I've got 2 of them. Glue them in place so there's something to attach to, and I think that'll be much nicer. But there you are. I mean, at the moment that's the van looking quite sorry for itself again, isn't it? I haven't taken this one off yet. That'll be the last one to do, but I'll be doing the same on this as I'm going to do on that panel up there and go over the material, because I do not think I'm going to be able to successfully make that panel, and I don't want to take the material off because if anybody does want to take a van back to original, we're trying to make it so everything can be reverted back should someone want to do that. But what do you think? I mean, are you getting any value out of this watching this? Because this must give you enthusiasm and know that it's not too hard to do, and you could do it to your van, caravan, whatever. Have a go. Why not? What's the worst that can happen? You got to go back to the original, doing it the way we're doing it, and that's not a bad thing, is it? You know, just have confidence. I'm sure you can do it. And if you are enjoying what you've seen so far, give us a thumbs up and maybe even consider subscribing. Anyway, I'm going to get on with some more bits. I'm going to glue this up now. So we'll catch you in a little while. Right, so I hope you can see what I'm doing now. I'm going to shape, there's like lots of little bits that are sticking out, so I'm just going to shave them off with a standing knife blade. And I'm sort of going to make a bit of a mess before you tidy it up, really. But, obviously that panel's been off a few times in its life, and people sort of bodge these things, don't they? Don't know why, but we'll put a screw through that and glue the wood. I'm going to have to take the panel down for a little while. Don't like it dangling, but it's going to have to. It's going to have to dangle just for a little while. That one there, yeah, it's a little tiny bit. And what we're going to do is get the little blocks. The screw goes through. Get the little blocks and make sure the screw goes through. So just getting through a little bit. Then we're going to put a little bit of wood glue on it. Nice dollop of glue on it. And we're going to line it back up on the existing hose. Just screw them in there. Now that left overnight should stick nice and tight. And do the same with the other one. And there we are. So that's all we're doing, and then when it's solid tomorrow, nice and glued, we'll come out and take that off. Now you can see what's happened. They've rested the panel on these two beforehand, so not quite sure what I'll replace them with at the moment. Maybe some more press studs, because they look purposeful. No other reason than that. They don't look untidy, do they? They cover up a multitude of sins. So that's maybe what we're going to do. Really don't know. We'll think of something. Anyway, the next thing is to have a look at the pockets. How are we going to make them? So I'm going to go and discuss that with Vina, because she'll be doing that, not me. Or making the material and cut, sewing it. Well, we're going to move on a little bit further now, and I'm going to show you the next stage. I want to have the panels slightly padded. Whether this is a good idea or not, I'm not sure at the moment, but we will soon find out. So I've bought this 5mm foam, and I'm going to template all the foam now and cut that out. And then we'll stick it to the panels before we cover them with the suede. I'm hoping it will give it a slightly more luxurious look. Well, unfortunately, I've ran out of foam, so I've had to order some more up. But that gives you the sort of idea. You're getting a little bit of foam. I mean, it looks a little bit rough in places, I know. When it's going to pull tight around, and I think that's just going to give it a slightly more luxurious look. I'm hoping. You know, all these things. This is the first time I've tried doing this, so I really don't know. But once that arrives, I think we're ready to start covering. I've had to order some staples because we're going to be stapling it as opposed to gluing the material. If I was carpeting it, I would glue it, but because it's material, I'm going to staple it. And for the bottoms, for the pockets, obviously here on the old ones we've got pockets. I'm going to use the material from the bottom of the curtains in the van, and we're going to put elastic. There's a big seam in the bottom, and I'm going to put elastic in that and try and make that become the pocket. So that's a bit of an experiment. I'm not really sure if it's going to work, but if it does, that means we've bought curtains, trimmed them down, V's hemmed them, and the excess material will become the pockets on the trim. So saving some money there as well, isn't it? So that's a really good win-win for everybody. Or us too, anyway. And you, if you're going to do it as well. But that's where we are. So I'm going to leave that now and come back to that when everything arrives. Here we are on day 2. We have the foam. We have the suede that we're going to use, and I've just cut the first piece. And this is the surround that goes around the cab, the top of the cab as you enter into the cab from the back. So the plan is, I'm gonna tack him in first of all. So we're gonna get him in place and just tack there, then work down. And I want all the suede to be cut in the same direction. So this is off the row, so it's, you know, we're coming down the row. So every piece will have a top and a bottom now. So the end of the row is going to be the top, and going to the bottom of the row is going to be the bottom. We're not going to go sideways. I'm worried about the suede looking wrong when it's back up. It might not happen, but that's something I'm just doing now, just in case. So now I've got to start tacking it all in. So I'm going to tack a few in, and we'll come back when I've done a few. So I'm just going to show you it come in together. It's going to take a while. I'll turn it over. You can see where I'm stapling along. What I did is I had 2 staples there to just get the idea. Then I worked out like spaces along, as you can see here, just stapled it. But when I got to about here, I noticed there was creases starting to appear. It's a horrible piece to work with, this one. Creases starting to appear here. You can just see in the marks there. There's no creases, but there was marks there. So I had to stretch it out that way, and there we are at the moment. I've just got a little bit more to do, and it'll be ready to go back in. And I think it looks quite nice actually, the suede. We'll see what it looks like when it's actually in place, won't we? Right, the next thing we need to do is obviously we're going to put screws back through the material, and it's going to be on quite a few panels, and I don't want the material tearing. So my idea is I'm going to heat up a drill and see if it pushes through. So I'll just do this while we're watching. I don't want the material fraying when it's in place, and I'm hoping this will burn through but also seal the hole at the same time. Soon find out, won't we? And that's glowing red. It's nice and hot. Always hold it in the blue part of the flame. Remember that from school. There we go. And that works perfectly, doesn't it? I think. So, yeah. Look at that. Right, so come right into the lens and moving up to the right. Turn it around so you can see the other side. And then we've got a cap that goes over the top of that. Like that. and then that'll go like that. So I'm happy with that. We're going to do a few. Always scary, innit? But I'm sure it's going to be fun. Well, the first covered bit is up. That's what it looks like. I'm really pleased. I think that looks very, very nice. It looks better than it did before, personally. I mean, I know I'm going to have people who say it looks, you know, they like the original look. But the original is underneath if anybody should want to go back to the original. But I really like that. I'm quite pleased. Can't wait to see the rest. Next piece I'm going to do is that piece up there now. Now the blocks that I put in have all glued nice and tight. So we're going to recover that piece now. It's obviously quite a mucky day again, you know. How many more wet weekends are we going to have? But we're not camping this weekend, so I'm really hoping that I'll get all this done and it'll all be ready for the next camp out, which incidentally will be Van West. So hopefully you'll see this video before you see the Van West video. You're gonna have to, really, aren't you? Right then, we're moving on to the first pocket now. Now we've got the cut-offs of the curtains. I've ordered some elastic, and the idea is we're going to use the hem of the curtain with the elastic through it and make a pocket. So again, this is all a learning curve for me, but so far everything's working out quite well, isn't it? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to thread that through into the material and then see just how much it gathers, because obviously we're going to have a little bit of give. Now I'm having a little bit of a mare with this, but I think I've sussed out how I'm going to do it. Now what I've done is I've stapled that side, put the elastic through, and we want to make sure it's straight, so I'm just going to use a straight edge just to make sure. Now I think we need a little bit more material, really, so I'm overload myself. That's what I'm thinking about, like that. That gives you just enough, I think, to create a pocket, and then we just got to worry about below. So let's turn that round. And just staple that in a minute. Staple that in, and that's our pocket. Now we just got to work out how we're going to make it all go tight in the bottom. I think possibly if you had a sewing machine, stitch in the elastic into the material, and it'll make it even easier to do. But we're getting there. This is the first time I've ever attempted anything like this. So carpeting's been my limit before. Well, it's starting to come together. I think in hindsight I could have made the pockets a little bit deeper, but I think it's starting to look quite nice. Just a few more to do, but we're waiting for some foam to turn up now, so I think we're coming to the end of today's work. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with it so far.
My first, and then we can. Right, so if that was to go round, for argument's sake, like that, you now try and put something in that pocket.
Yeah, that works, doesn't it?
Yeah, okay.
It works.
Alright, so what I've done is I've cut the material. It's 3 inches wider than the elastic, so the elastic is 16, the material is 19. I'm going to try it with an inch less of elastic. Obviously measured the elastic before it was stretched. So this is now 15 inches of elastic. And then to get it to rumple properly, just pull it out and then it rumples back evenly. Okay, now if we put it on the board, so you have to pull it a little bit around. Put the bottom on. How does that feel?
Yeah, that's perfect, because you're got to get your hand in.
Yeah, well, if you've got a book in there, you need to have
yeah.
it enough that you're not going to pull on the ends of the material.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we'll go with 15 inches of elastic with this material. And then for the bigger pocket, I'll work that out mathematically. Okay,
and we'll have the equation ready to put down below. Yes. Well, we're moving through the boards now. I think as you do a few more, you get a little bit quicker. The van's looking quite nice. Take you in a little while. But we were talking to you earlier on about the pockets, and apparently these work out some mathematical equation, but we'll find out about that later. I like my idea, my way of working out better. But there's the last one to go on, last pocket. And you can see just how it's grouped there. What V's done is she's sewn it in both sides. The elastic, that is, sewn it in both sides. So you've got a nice bit of stretch here. And I'll show you that being fitted in a minute. But it's going well. I've got this panel and I've got one more panel to do. That's a door panel. And we've done it. So we're very, very close now. I hope to finish by the end of the weekend, but didn't quite get there. So it'll probably be tomorrow morning before I actually finish everything. But we're doing well. I think I'm really pleased with what we're doing. You can see there that it just looks so nice, doesn't it? It looks really nice and plush. I think adding the foam in behind has made a difference as well. It's made them look even more, I don't know, more refined. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. But it's quite satisfying to do as well. And when you think we were quoted $3,000 to do this, or admittedly they were going to do the seat covers as well. So I'm just going to get this finished, and then I'll show you how we fit the pocket. Right, so we've onto the pocket now. So as I said earlier, the pockets are going to be 9 inches deep. So what I do on the back is I mark off 9 inches. And then we draw a line, a strong line, so we can see exactly where we're working. Obviously on the back of it doesn't really matter, does it? Nice line to see exactly what we're doing. And just to be sure, I like to do that just to make sure there's a straight edge here. Make sure we are straight, and that is. So that's that bit. Then we'll get the pocket and make sure you get it the right way around, because there's two sides to the material. There's a shiny side and a silky side. So we're gonna just hang the pocket. Just gonna hang it over a little bit. Get one side in, and then we'll get the other side in. But before we do the second side, we'll just make sure it's tight enough, because we can always take in a little bit extra material on the opposite side. So we'll just put some staples in this side first of all, bring them up to the line. Nice and secure, so I'm going to put probably 4 just to start. So it's nice and secure. Then Get rid of all this rubbish we've got everywhere. Spin him around. Make sure we've got no bits on it. That's where it'll be, and you decide then whether that is enough tension. And I think, you know, there's going to be bucks or whatever goes in. I don't know really. It's just a pocket. So I think I could just add a little tiny bit more tension on the side. So I'm going to just take them around a little tiny bit more. So now we've worked it out. Just take them a little bit more. We'll just take them into about there. Not a huge amount. And do exactly the same again. We'll staple that. Be very careful when you're doing this. If you get staples in your fingers using one of these, I can't be responsible. So that's literally what we do. And I tend to bring the bottom of the pocket up next. So I'll go across the bottom, then we'll bring it down, and then we'll bring the corners in. So I'll do that. I'm just going to see what that's like. Down the other side before we go silly. All to be nice and straight, don't we? Looks good. I'm just holding it with my finger there. I'll get a staple in. And that's what we'll do. We'll work around now. So I'm not gonna go silly, pulling it really tight. I'm just gonna get it nipped up in places. And I won't bore you, so we'll come back at the end of this when I've finished it and you can see the finished product. There's something I'm doing as well. I don't know if this is the right way, but I'm heating up a rod with some Allen key I'm using to push through the hose to make holes in the material so it's easy to screw on. And it's by doing this, it burns the hole through the material and the foam, so we don't get any tears. So just put that through, and it melts its way through, and pretty much got to heat it up for every one now. And what I did as well is I drew arrows on the board just to show where the screw holes are, because I did find myself struggling on an earlier one trying to find out where the screw holes were, and I'd actually gone over them when I've been putting on the material. So I've got a little arrow there and I've got a little arrow there, and just in there you can see the hole. It's not the easiest thing to do on some of the tighter ones. You're gonna be quick and not burn your fingers at the same time.
So the press stud tool, you get two of these little things. One's for cutting the hole and one's for pressing the stud in. So first of all, cut the hole. You have to cut a hole in both ends of the material where you want the press stud. So we put the first one in here. Literally there's a little holder you put underneath, just like a solid piece of metal. And just put the material over that, line up where you want the stud to go. Put your little tool through. Should just need a couple of light little hammers, and there we go. It's cut a really tidy little hole in the material. And you need to do the other end as well, because you need an end for the screw to go through. It's much nicer to cut it because it keeps it all nice and neat and tidy. Just pop it in again. There we go, there's the other holes. You've now got 2 holes in the fabric. You've got to remember which way you do them as well, because I've seamed these tie backs across the bottom. This is a left hand tie back and I want the seam to hang downwards. So this is where the stud goes through on this side. So you pop the stud through, like so. A little bit fiddly, just stretch it over the material. Put that back on your tool, and then you get the other piece of the press stud, which is the bit that the screw pushes into. It goes on there, and then you get the other tool. So basically it's like a little spreader nipple that goes into there, and it spreads the bottom one over the top one. And there we go, all fixed into position. And then the other end, you just need the screw to go through. So remembering which way round you've got to do it. So the screw goes into the material like so. Just screw it in rather than drag it through the material, and then that's ready to go in. That then screws into your wall, wherever you're putting it, and then that will do up over. I won't do it up because it's hard to get it apart once it's done up and it's not on something. But once that back piece is screwed in, that then clips into position. Here's your tie back. That's all you need. A little kit there. You don't need a lot of sewing skills, you just need to be able to sew in a relatively straight way.
We're finally here. I've finished the upholstery. I bought quite a lot of material, so there's some left, and I have another project for that coming up, which you'll see at a later stage. That won't be happening for a couple of videos time, maybe quite a few videos time, but it's going to be something same, but a bit different again. Anyway, tools that we've used doing this. Trusty stapler. Gas gun to heat up the Allen key to push through the hose. Scissors, decent pair of scissors. Tape measure and a straight edge. Some cardboard, glue. Oh, and don't forget the foam. I'll just show you the foam as well. So this is all the bits and pieces that we used. I'll put all these bits and pieces that we've used in our Amazon shop. So if you want to have a look at them, want to get anything, the link will be down below in the rest of the description. And we will get a little bit of a kickback, but it won't cost you a penny, honestly. And if you buy it, you know it's stuff I've used and it's worked. So it should work for you as well. Right, that really does leave us to one thing. Oh, and some sharp blades. Some sharp blades for cutting. But don't do what I do. Put them in a handle. Right, that leaves us to one last thing, doesn't it? The big reveal. Right, let's go and do it. So the home makeover, look at this. The new carpets from Rugs for Bugs. So I'm going to start from the floor and we're going to come up so you can get an initial impact and see what you think. So here we go. Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? Here we go. You excited? I am. And there you are. What do you reckon of that, guys? Got one curtain tie back to be made yet. Haven't done that. These in there at the moment doing it. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. I think we paid about £70 for the curtains, and these had to take them all up. But the material we used for taking them up Leah's made the tie backs, and we've made the pockets on the panels. Got the suede, the buttons. I'm really pleased with it all. Well, what do you think? I am absolutely loving it. I can't wait for people's comments. I think it's an amazing makeover. And for any of you that are going to say, oh, you should have left it standard, I've kept all the original panels. So should a new owner want to put it all back to standard, it's all available. But I think it looks great. I love it. V loves it. So we're happy. That's all that matters, isn't it? It's our van, and that's what is important. I know I'm going to have a few people who are going to tell me, no, you should have left it standard, you know, you've ruined it. Well, I don't think so. But tell me in the comments. Be nice, but if you don't like it, tell me, and yeah, tell me constructively maybe. Anyway, I hope you've really enjoyed this video, and I hope it's given you confidence to maybe attempt your own and have a go, because it wasn't hard. And if it has, give us a thumbs up, guys, and share it to your mates as well, because you know, if they're trying to convert their camper van, update their camper van, car, boat, I don't know, you know, anything with upholstery in it, really, you know, maybe indoors, you know, I'm thinking maybe you could do a headboard like that as well on a bed, you know, there's no reason why not, is there? You know, we're actually thinking about doing something in the house very similar. But if you've enjoyed it, share it with your mates, give us a like, and more importantly, if you want to see more of this stuff, more of what we're doing, subscribe to the channel, guys. You know, we really appreciate every one of you that subscribes to the channel. And well, this video is going to be out in a few weeks' time, but I can tell you we're off to Van West in a few weeks. Actually, Van West is next week. So if you're at Van West, or if we saw you at Van West, because I think this video probably will come out after Van West, you know, hi, and we'll go from there. Anyway, look after yourselves, guys. See you later.